Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Story Time, and today I'm going to tell you the story of the time that my boss saw my eggplant. And by eggplant, I mean wang, disco stick, all of those terms that I can use and not get this video demonetized. But this literally happened. I believe I actually told this story back on the Call of Duty channel years and years ago. So if you saw it back then, you're in for a treat. Now, if you haven't seen it, you're really in for a treat because this story is insane. It sounds not real. It involves me getting drunk, getting stitches, and my boss seeing my wang. So there's quite a few twists and turns in this one. So this story took place when I was 19. At the time, I was working in a grocery store in the produce department, and I actually really liked the job. More so, I liked the people that I work with. I even liked my boss, even though we didn't get along some of the time. That'll come into play later. But at the time, every single Sunday, I was 19, and the legal drinking age in Canada is 19, not 21 like you crazy Americans. So every Sunday night was our busy day. So, because basically at the grocery store we worked at, it was unionized, so none of the full-time people worked on Sundays, or managers didn't work on Sundays, which meant the guys who'd been there for a while, like me and my friend, we were kind of in charge on Sundays. I'd been there for 4 years at the time. I got hired when I was 15. I was 19 at the time of this story, and he'd been there for like 7 years. So we were kind of in charge on Sundays. So after Sundays, me, my friend Chris, and my friend Dan, yes, the same Dan that cut his foot open in the drunk paramedic story, go check that out if you haven't seen it, but literally same guy. We would go bowling every single Sunday. The reason why we'd go bowling is because it was the only bar in town that sold $2 beers. It might sound weird to some of you Americans who have like those dollar beers and stuff, but like the cheapest beer you can get here is like $5 at a bar. So to have $2 beers, you're going to have a good time at that place. So every single Sunday, we'd go bowling for 3 hours. We'd drink a whole bunch of beers and then go home and have the rest of your night. Sometimes we'd go to another bar after because they were only open till midnight, but we did it every single Sunday. And on this faithful Sunday, we got pretty damn drunk and I decided to walk back home. And when I got home, I called my girlfriend at the time, now ex-girlfriend. So I call her and we get into a fight because just don't call your girlfriend when you're drunk. Just text her, be like, hi, I'm home, I'm safe, go to bed, because it's just going to end up bad. So I called her, we get in a fight. I don't even know what the fight was about, but it was a fight. It's what happens when you're drunk. Like I said, just go to sleep, man. This theme will continue throughout the rest of the story. So at this point, we get into a fight and she hangs up on me. I try calling her back. She won't answer her phone. So of course I get pissed off, but I do the good drunk thing where I decide to go to bed. So I take my clothes off, take my pants off. And at the time, my bedroom was in the basement of my house. And in the basement of my house, we had this thing called wainscoting. Wainscoting is when there's wood paneling halfway up a wall and then drywall up the second half of the wall. This is going to be important in a second. So I take my pants off, take my shirt off, and I go brush my teeth like a great drunk person. Brush my teeth, and as I'm walking back to bed, remember how I took off my pants? Well, I tripped over my pants, fell, and hit my head on the corner of the wainscoting. There was a wall right by my bed that kind of jutted out, and the wainscoting went to a point right at the corner, and I whacked my head right on the corner. And the lights were off because I was going to bed, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, that hurt. Went and laid down in bed. I lay there for maybe 2 minutes when I realized there's something pouring down my face. Like, my face is wet, and I don't know why my face is wet. And when you're drunk, it takes a while to figure out what is going on with your face. So I'm like, okay, I should probably get up and check what's going on here. I get up and go to the bathroom, turn on the light, look in the mirror, and there is blood pouring down my face. Like, just pouring. So I get some paper towel or whatever, clean up my face, wipe it off, and I'm like, okay, well, like, let's put some pressure on it, see if we can get it to stop. I hold pressure on it for a little while. It does not stop. I'm standing there. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm drunk. I can't drive to the hospital. This is not something you call an ambulance for. So what do? I call my friend Chris, who I was at bowling with. I call him and I'm like, listen, I got in a fight with my girlfriend. She can't come pick me up. My face is bleeding. I hit my face on the wall and it's pretty bad. And he goes, oh, it's not so bad. Just go to bed. So I try to go to bed. I'm laying in bed and I can still feel water just pouring down my face. And I'm like, okay. So at this point, I call Chris back. There's blood pouring down my face and I just can't stop it from bleeding. And I'm like, dude, like, I tried to go to sleep. There's blood everywhere. Like, I can't go to sleep. And he goes, okay, send me a picture. Just take a picture, show me what it looks like, and then we'll see how bad it is. So I lean over into the mirror, take a picture in the mirror of my eye, send it to him. He looks at it and goes, dude, that is pretty bad. Like, we should probably take you to a hospital. And he goes, give me an hour. I'll take a nap. I'll wake up. I'll drive you to the hospital. I'm like, dude, you are not going to be okay to drive in an hour. If you're anywhere near as drunk as I am, you cannot drive in an hour. He's like, okay, fine. Give me an hour. I'll have a nap. I'll bike to your place and I'll bike you to the hospital. I'm like, first of all, you shouldn't be biking drunk. Second of all, how is that going to work? Am I going to ride on your pegs like a BMX bike? No, you don't have a... So that didn't work either. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to go to bed. I'm going to hopefully this stops. So I get back into bed. I lay down, blood's pouring down my face. I'm like, okay, this is not going to work. And at the time, I was living with my mom and my stepdad. And like I said, my room was in the basement. So I went upstairs wearing just boxers, knock on my parents' bedroom door. And I go, Mom, do you have anything that I can stop bleeding with? And she goes, oh God. Like I can hear her through the door. She goes, oh no. Turns on the light, opens the door, looks at me and goes, yeah, Corey, it's called a hospital. And I go, well, do we really got to go to the hospital? Like, I think I'm okay. And she goes, no, we're going to get you some stitches. And I'm like, fine. So we go to the hospital. It was actually really, really quick at the hospital, which was surprising. By the way, this didn't hurt at all. I don't know whether it was because I was so drunk or it just wasn't the type of cut that hurts, but it really didn't hurt at all. It was just the bleeding that was kind of annoying. So I go to the hospital and it turns out that I need 18 stitches. I'll show you a picture. I think I have a picture of me with the stitches somewhere on my computer. I'll try to find it, throw it up on screen here. So here it is. This is actually me laying in the hospital right after I got the stitches. You can see I got 15 stitches on my eyebrow and then 3 on my actual eyelid. When I was getting the stitches, the doctor actually had to give me a shot of anesthetic in my eye, like in my eyeball, which I actually didn't realize until my mom told me after. I thought it was just near my eye. Turns out it was right in my eye. It was terrifying while he was doing it. That was probably the worst part of the whole thing. But it was 15 stitches on my eyelid and then 15 stitches on my eyebrow and then 3 stitches on my eyelid, like literally right on my eyelid. I cut my eyelid open. I didn't even know that was possible. So it was actually really close to like hitting my eye and blinding me. So I actually kind of got lucky. But anyway, I got the 18 stitches and then I go home, sleep the rest of the night, wake up the next morning. And what I did is I sent a picture of the stitches to my girlfriend at the time. And then she woke up in the morning to the picture because she wouldn't answer my calls and felt terrible. She felt so bad that she couldn't be there to take me to the hospital or make sure I was okay. And I kind of feel bad that I sent it to her because like it wasn't her fault. Like she was mad. Anyway, that's a completely separate story. Anyway, so I wake up the next day and I'm supposed to work that day, like later in the day, like 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. kind of shift. And I called my boss first thing in the morning and I explained like, hey, listen, I went to the hospital last night. I had to get some stitches. I'm not going to be able to work today. My face looks pretty bad, but I'm going to be able to work tomorrow. And I don't think she believed me because she knew we went bowling every single Sunday. So I think she thought that I was hungover. So my buddy, Chris, who also has to work that day, is working like a 12 to 9 shift, something like that. And he goes in, sees my boss, and he's like, did you hear what happened to Corey? And she's like, no, is that like, did something actually happen? And he explains the whole thing, how I cut my eye. And he goes, oh, wait. I got a picture of what happened to him. There's blood all over his face. So he pulls out the picture, shows it to her, is holding it to her. And the first thing my boss says isn't, oh, that looks pretty bad. Oh, I'm glad he's okay. She looks at it, goes a little closer to it, and then goes, is that Corey's dick? So I guess what happened is when I leaned over the counter to take the picture of my eye, I leaned a bit too much and it was right at wang height. And when I leaned over the counter, dick falls out onto the counter and I take a picture and send it to Chris. Because either Chris is drunk or 2, because he's a dude and doesn't look there right away, he doesn't notice. So he shows my manager the picture and she goes, that's Corey's penis. And I come into work the next day and Chris goes, yeah, I showed her boss your wang. I'm sorry. And I'm, why do you have a picture of my wang? And then he showed me the picture and I went, oh man, I didn't mean to send that to you. So, long story short, I went bowling, I tripped, I cut my eye open, got 18 stitches, sent a picture of it to my friend, who showed my boss, which my wang just so happened to be in that picture. And that is a typical Sunday night in my life. I don't do that anymore. We don't go out any Sundays anymore. I'm too old for that now, apparently. It was a great time at the time, but it just goes to show you that you make some questionable decisions after a couple beers. So behave out there. Don't drink and drive. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Hit the like button if you did. And until next time, guys, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making